The BBC HardTalk studio and broadcasting house, London, hummed with its austere intensity at 10 p.m. GMT on December 4, 2025 at 9 o'clock a.m. PKT in Pakistan, where early risers in Islamabad were already queuing next for the live stream. The minimalist set stark under harsh spotlights, a single black leather chair for the guest, a wooden desk for the host, no frills, no applause. Just the unyielding gaze of the lens and the weight of global scrutiny, because Prince Harry, the 41-year-old Duke of Sussex, sat tramrod straight in his tailored grey suit, Invictus dog tags glinting at his collar, fresh off a flight from Vancouver where he'd been scouting Paralympic sites, here for what was billed as a candid conversation on the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games and his new Apple TV Plus series Unbroken Bonds, Veterans' Voices. The program airing live on BBC World News as a swan-song special before HardTalk's axing in March. Stephen Sackur, the 61-year-old veteran interrogator with a voice like gravel over glass and eyes sharpened by decades in war zones from Baghdad to the Balkans, leaned forward in his crisp white shirt, no tie, sleeves rolled like a man ready for a bare-knuckle briefing, the interview kicking off with the usual probing politeness. Sackur nodding at Harry's tales of adaptive archery with Afghan vets, Harry praising the BBC's unflinching journalism in a nod to his mother's old stomping grounds, the first 20 minutes a measured tango, a Sackur asking about Archie's first rugby scrum, Lily's love for corgis despite the family rift, Harry opening up on the healing power of service post-spare, the invisible audience of diplomats and desk warriors tuning in from Delhi to DC. Everything calibrated like a well-rehearsed scene until Sackur, that relentless terrier who'd grilled Assad in Damascus and grilled Lula in Brasilia, pivoted with surgical precision, his tone dropping to that forensic clip that had made HardTalk infamous. Your Royal Highness, you've positioned yourself as the ultimate insider-outsider, the prince who exposed the firm's fractures in Sparia, the racism whispers, the suicidal despair, the fraternal fisticuffs. But let's cut to the core. You claim the palace abandoned you in your darkest hour, denying Meghan therapy while leaking her pain to the tabloids, yet your own pages reveal a Rolodex of royal shrinks, private jets to wellness retreats, a security detail that could staff a spa. Is this the unvarnished truth, or a narrative polished to perfection for the streaming spotlight? Because from where this old correspondent sits, it reads like a selective scripted trauma for the tell-all. Triumph for the TED Talk, while the British taxpayer still foots £3 million a year for your Montecito moat. How does that square with the accountability you demand of others? And the air in the studio congealed like cement, Harry's posture snapping from relaxed track on to coiled commando, his jaw setting like it did in the sands of Helm and Under Fire, fingers gripping the armrest as he exhaled slow, voice measured but laced with that officer-class frost. Stephen, with respect, you've reported from the front line as I respect that, but you weren't the spare in a system where your wife's mental health became collateral for circulation spikes. We had resources, yes, but trust that evaporated the moment we whispered help. The book lays it bare, the rest is hindsight heroism from those who never lived it. But Sackur, unmoved, his face a mask of impartial incredulity honed from grilling Gaddafi's ghostwriters, leaned closer. Eyes boring like bunker busters. Hindsight. Your Highness, this is 2025, your decade out of the gilded cage, richer than Croesus, yet the grievances recycle like royal reruns, racism here, neglect there, but never the nuance of we had options and opted for Oprah over outreach. I've interviewed warlords who own their ambushes faster than you own the ambiguities. If Invictus is about unbroken bonds, why does your bond with the truth feel so elastic? And spare me the systemic shield. My sources in Kensington say you ghosted family therapy sessions yourself, preferring polo over reconciliation. Is the real humiliation the one you fled, or the one you're scripting now? And the feed, unfiltered for the world service, captured every flinch, Harry's cheeks flushing under the unforgiving lights, the chair creaking as he shifted, a vein pulsing at his temple like a tripwire, and the invisible global audience. Pakistan's chattering classes at breakfast, New York's finance brothers mid-commute held collective breath, because this wasn't the softball stateside spots, this was HardTalk, The BBC's Inquisition chamber where princes were mere pixels in the crosshairs, and Harry, composure fraying like a Sandhurst seam, fired back, voice rising to that clipped timbre that echoed his Oprah edge but cracked at the seams. "Stephen, easy for you to dissect from your armchair, dearie, platforming tyrants while the royals you lionize leak my address to the press. You talk accountability? Try burying your mother at 12, then watch the world monetize your mourning. I've built Invictus from ashes, you never shovel it. Don't lecture me on elasticity when your questions stretch further than facts." And Sackur, unflinching, parried with a low chuckle that cut like shrapnel. "Facts? The fact is, Your Highness, you've turned personal pain into public profit to £50 million from memoirs and moxa while the firm you flay funds your freedom. I've reported from refugee camps where families beg for the therapy you bypassed. Elastic? It's elastic enough to snap back and sting the very veterans you champion, wondering if your truth is therapy or theater." The studio, soundproof but suffocating, amplified the silence that followed, Harry's eyes narrowing to slits. The clock ticking past the half-hour mark with no commercial mercy in podcast purgatory, and in a move that stunned even the floor manager, Harry surged to his feet, all 6'2" of ex-Blues and Royals sinew, unclipping his lav mic with a savage Velcro rip that echoed like a round chambered in the quiet, and delivered the dagger. "Stephen, I came for dialogue on duty, not dissection by a desk-bound Don Quixote tilting at tabloid windmills. This isn't journalism, it's judgment. Hard talk, more like hard sell." "I'm done." And he strode out, suit jacket flapping like a cape in retreat, past the frozen camera ops, past the producer mouthing "keep rolling," into an earpiece that fed only static, the heavy oak door slamming with a thud that reverberated through the feed to 50 million homes, leaving Sackur alone in frame, staring at the empty chair for a beat, then turning to camera with that wry, world-weary half-smile. "Well, that's hard talk." Sometimes the questions hit harder than the answers. We'll reflect after the break. The director fading to black 30 seconds shy of schedule, cutting to a bland promo for BBC Sounds that felt like a mercy kill, and by the time the feed resumed, #Harry HardTalk humiliation was ablaze worldwide, topping trends in Pakistan at 9:05 a.m. PKT where users in Rawalpindi posted the door slam gif captioned "Jab Sackur Nishe Zaid Ko BBC Kaisli Masalad Khadiya," and the title "Stephen Sackur humiliates Prince Harry" on BBC HardTalk after heated argument screamed from every server, a fifth high 1-second clip that resurrected HardTalk's dying embers into a funeral pyre for royal rapprochement. Arch Ewell's PR scrambling with a tweet storm on misaligned media, while Sackur's inbox flooded with kudos from Kiev to Canberra, proving even in its final reel, the Beebs bulldog could bite deep enough to draw ducal blood on live there. By 10:00 a.m. PKT the Raw exchange had scorched 900 million views, Pakistani meme hubs remixing Sackur's elastic truth zinger with Desi Uncle voiceovers over chai rituals. Karachi cafes pausing paradas to parse Sackur ni Harry ko HardTalk ka full course serve Kia, while London's tabloids howled Harry's HardTalk humiliation, Prince flees BBC bullying. In 96 Fury, the internet fracturing like a bad Brexit ballot, Sackur stands trending #justice for journalism with montages of his Putin grillings captioned "The terrier that tamed the terrier." Harry's hive unleashing 400,000 complaints to Ofcom before 11's, doxing the lighting guy and review bombing BBC iPlayer classics, and Harry, hustled into a blacked-out Audi idling on Portland Place, Range Rover convoy peeling toward Heathrow for a dawn dash to Montecito, went full radio silence but the Sussex swarm surged with an Arch Ewell thread. The Duke honors HardTalk's legacy but rejects interrogations that ignore institutional inequity as a dialogue demands depth, not daggers, while in California Meghan scrolled the storm from her kale smoothie station, kids at Montessori, Roz A. copyright embargoed till tea time as she texted Tyler Perry he's gutted but unbroken. BBC's Dawn Chorus the next day opened with Sackur solo in the HardTalk Claire, white shirt rumpled like post-battle fatigues. Voice gravelly with the post-pummel gravitas. Viewers, last night's exchange was HardTalk at its hardest raw, revealing, regrettably ruptured. I respect the Duke's service. My questions chased clarity, not conquest. In a world of whispers, we owe warriors candor, even when it costs the close. The virtual audience, swelled by scandal to stratospheric extremes, erupted in a digital ovation across BBC Sounds forums, from Peshawar programmers praising Sackur's scalpel over softballs to DC diplomats dissecting the ducal dissonance, viewership eclipsing the Queen's funeral as the Beeb's battered brand burnished anew, execs in Salford toasting with Teddies while sponsors like HSBC hiked ad slots on the accountability afterglow. Behind the lines, Director General Tim Davie mediated a tense newsroom huddle. Laura Quintsberg cracking next time, send him to Newsnight, I'll bring the tea. But Sackur stood pat in his rapt debrief. I asked what the world murmurs and the margins, I rest resolute, knowing I honored the heart in HardTalk. In Pakistan's mid-morning slots at 11 a.m. PKT, Dawn News ran a 90-minute panel Sackur ni Hari ko BBC ka bitter pilkul asakya sakgirti, spawning viral vines of aunties grilling grooms over dowry details. Late-nighters like James Corden, exiled to Spotify, reenacting the McRib with a prop corgi, When Your Therapist's Diana Butcher interviewers a dragon, and the Invictus promo, pledges pentupled from pundit pilgrims dropping £1.50 to armor his alibis, Apple TV Plus fast-tracking the series drop by a fortnight to harness the hurricane, the Inferno incinerated for 12 days, a Hive petitions peaking at 1.5 million sigs. Sackur's book The Unsparing Eye rebounding to #1 with hate readers highlighting his Iraq embeds event tapered, Harry resurfaced and Whistler with wheelchair warriors carving snow souls, caption bonds beyond broadcasts, no barbs bartered, Sackur pivoting to a valedictory HardTalk with Zelensky on Truth's last stand, but that 51-second supernova seared sacred, the Beebs bravura and BBC's bonfire, where a Lincolnshire lass's lad exposed the prince's plated patina, proving even Ginger Grace galls when the questions quest like quarry hounds in unyielding and unyoked. 8 years hence, the contretemps was consecrated in Com's Catechism, cornerstone curriculum at SOS London and EBA Karachi alike under the Sackur sting, when HardTalk's swan song sang Sovereign, Don's piping the clip then polling did the dog dignify or demean the Duke. With 75-25 tallies for Sackur each semester, his 2033 valedictory interrogations uninterrupted carving a capstone called the 51 seconds that sealed the silence, confiding I spied my own specters in hysteria loss laced with legacy and pondered if probity meant pruning the probe, the volume vaulting charts while Harry's 2034 opus Horizons Unhymned consigned a coda to Allen and Lens. Ruminating certain spotlights Circe and solace I sought the skyline over the scrutiny, shifting shelves to the steadfast, the storied black leather Thrinia that Tribunal of Truthel was salvaged for the BBC Archive Centennial Showcase with a silver scroll, thrown transiently by HRH Prince Henry, 4th of December 2025, a locus of HardTalk's harshest, hence a final hurrah, where in December devotees deposited dog tags etched with what's your unelastic truth, and frayed spare spines as shrines. In Pakistan, where the user rewound the relic at 9 o'clock am PKT emitted an echoes, the melee had matured into masala, melded into Maharam Majliza Jab Sackur ni Pucha, Harry ni Darshan ka Darwaza Dakla and primetime panels proclaiming it the inquest that interred the institution's illusions. Kismet, that cunning cutter, crafted a coda at the 2034 Global Resilience Forum in Davos, Sackur moderating media's moral mirror, Harry headlining service and spotlight 2 salons apart amid alpine mists and Mont Blanc murmurs, and post-plenary at the fondue fray, their trajectories tangled in the throng. Sackur hoisted a stein of Swiss stout to inquiries that ignite, your once highness Harry clashed with a craft tale, quirking his lip, to tenacity that tempers without torment. Stephen, no notepads, no nods to the nadir, merely 2 mariners musing the maelstrom that moored them, the one where hard questions aren't harangues but the harness you honor when the haze lifts, and in the interstice, Diana drummed ethereal digits on an unseen slate, smirking at the scene shift that substantiated even interrogators and insurgents, post-argument, partake in the piece of a probe well pitched. The title transmuted from tabloid tantrum to timeless take. The Duke discerned that some spotlights don't just scrutinize, they sanctify the stride away.